Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo, and this is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest, many online, and we interview our practitioners and vendors so you get a chance to know who we are before you meet us at an event. I'm excited to be here today with Kim Holman and Meg Judge. It's great to be with both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lorelei. Thanks for having us.
You are so welcome. So tell us, what do you each do on your own, and what are you doing together?
Yeah. So I am an intuitive coach. I help, I kind of describe myself as an organizer of the intangible. So I take ideas, I take emotions, I take curriculums, really whatever the person is needing to organize. My superpower is to see the big picture and then also drill down to the details. And so whatever product that person, whether it's inner work or an actual curriculum, wants to work on, then we can energetically work on that in a holistic way. And also one of my specialties is reparenting. And so the act of looking back at how we were parented and how that affects, and we'll get into that more later. But Kim?
Yeah. So Meg started out as my coach for the empath course that I was doing, and then it evolved into reparenting. So I've been a body worker for 30 years, and I've been moving into educational programs because I love teaching, and reparenting is something I've had to do personally to become a better mom. And so both of us have this passion about reparenting ourselves so that we interact better with people, other humans, and our children.
And Kim's extensive body work and just spiritual and intuitive experience just really pairs well with my personality and how we approach things. And so we've just really found a great partnership in doing this together.
Yeah, so it sounds like you both offer your work to people.
Mm-hmm.
And you found synergy in some of the ways that you work with people and your offerings, and then you're each bringing your gifts to be teaching together. So it sounds like you're teaching reparenting together.
Yes. Absolutely. That's absolutely correct.
Great, great. Can maybe share a little bit, you shared a little bit about what reparenting is. Maybe can you share, just give us some glimpses of like what's the material like? What are people doing?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about content, and then Kim will jump in with kind of who it's useful for.
Yeah.
So we offer resources and content around parenting itself and the process of reparenting. So looking at ourself and how that affects our interaction with others, especially children. And there's lots of parenting resources out there. I mean, parents can be inundated with parenting resources. We feel ours are unique because they focus on how our experiences as children affect our reactions, right? And so we have all these influences in our life, how we were parented, society, religion, often. And so those influences create patterns that are programmed within us. And often we don't realize how they're operating until we get angry at our child and we're like, why did I get so angry about the spilled milk? Is often, a useful example of that. And we find ourselves reacting to situations instead of responding intentionally. And so instead of behavior modification of children, we look at why are we reacting to that, and how do we get to the point where we are intentionally responding with compassion and in a developmentally appropriate way for where the child is in their growth.
Yeah, and this is for parents, but also people that are single, never had children, because they were affected by their parenting. And all of us, I don't care how old we are, 50, 60, 80 years old, we all have these inner children that are triggered, right? And we react to things versus responding. So it really is for, I would say 18 and up would be good to have some life experience. But it's like parents, maybe adults that maybe want to have parents or kids someday. So it's really for everybody to really look at themselves.
We pre-taught, and a couple of the folks that we pre-taught our course to way back, they didn't have children and they still got so much out of the course. And so it's applicable in a variety of different ways. Kim has adult children and I have young children. And so we've got that balance of experience that can be helpful in different situations. So
No, it's great. That's great. By the way, I keep Ursula on my desk. Ursula is a way that I parent my little kid inside, and I use this with clients all the time. So yeah, I totally get this. It's so valuable.
Love it.
Wonderful.
We need those
Oh,
things. We really do.
well, just a little bit so people get some of your backgrounds. How did you each get interested in the type of work that you're doing? Like, how did you get started doing this?
Yeah,
And
so
it,
my empath course, I've been a body worker for many years, and I just keep re-teaching clients one at a time the same thing. So I created the empath course, and everybody needs a coach, right? And especially for a project. So Meg ended up my primary coach for the empath course. And so then out of that, it was like one of my students in the empath course said, could you please do a parenting program? Because you have really amazing information about parenting. And so when I told my coach after I was done teaching, and we reorganized the empath course a little bit, she's like, oh, can I do it please with you? Like, please, please, please. And I've always admired working with Meg, how she parents her young children. And I wish I had that information and was doing that with my children. So I kind of learned by the school of hard knocks, and had to do my own work through the parenting process. And so now with that rich experience, Meg and I formed this, and we worked on it all of 2023 to really hone it and make it well.
And I have kind of accidentally come into this. Um, I have in all of my jobs previously, I have had elements of teaching, of directing people. I've worked with all age groups from preschool up to adult. I ran a program for disadvantaged youth for 2 years that I created. And I started to finally like look at the threads that were going through, the things that I was doing and the things that I was enjoying. And then 2 consulting opportunities, Kim and another one, just like landed in my lap. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this now. Okay, we'll do this now. And so that's kind of how, and then I just started to cohesively bring together all of my experiences and look at what I was passionate about. And so these kind of 3 prongs of what I do, one-on-one coaching, organizational consulting, and reparenting kind of presented themselves. And so I'm in the process of, you know, making that more prominent in my everyday life. So, but also parenting 2 young children. So that takes up a lot of my time.
yeah, great, great. Well, let's see. So maybe share details on, I think you want to share details on the courses that you're offering, and you're going to be sharing about these at the fairs as well, right? So maybe could you share a
Yes.
little bit about, maybe before you tell the details, so how are you going to be bringing this to the fairs to people?
Good question. I think we're going to be doing some talks, and so we'll talk about one of the programs. I don't know that we could bring that to the fair, but we will definitely have elements of that. And then at the booth, we will probably do consultations for a small fee. So
Great, great. Well, yeah, so share details. I think you wanted to share some
Okay.
details about what you're offering.
so I'm gonna share a screen while you share
Perfect.
about them.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first, so we have 3 offerings that are of various time commitments and financial accessibility. The first is a live online reparenting empowerment masterclass. It's 6 weeks long. It's a deep dive into that process of reparenting that we just discussed. So our topics include parenting belief systems and methods, anatomy of the human, which is a look at the spiritual, mental, emotional influences. And then we have a week on the introduction to trauma, because that's a huge piece of reparenting. A week on listening to ourselves and others, and then communication techniques, like ways that we can communicate with children and with other people that aren't transactional, that are respectful, things like that. And then we wrap up the class with balance and wellness. And we really stress in our balance and wellness class that we can't address all issues of balance and wellness when there's systems of oppression going on, but we can, there's small things that we can look at and we can work with in terms of our own balance. balance. So so that's the masterclass. And then Kim, do you want to talk a bit about the mini workshop?
Yeah, so the mini workshop is an introduction to the masterclass. So it was really difficult for us in the beginning to describe what we were doing. So we created this mini workshop, and it's 90 minutes long to do the work. It's like 60 minutes of talking. And then if you really do the work, it'll be 90 minutes total. And it's free on my website, kimholman.com. And that gives you an introduction to the kind of work that we do in the masterclass. So we recommend everybody go to the mini workshop first so they get an idea of like, what is this about?
Yeah.
This is really deeply looking at yourself.
If you're curious about, is the masterclass for me, then the workshop is such a great place to start.
Yes.
And then our third offering is an in-person intentional parenting collaborative. It's in person right now. If people were interested in an online version, we are entertaining that idea, so they should let us know. But it is the first Wednesday of every month in Salem, Oregon, and it's a place for parents to gather, to bring their challenges and frustrations, and just in general to be in community with others. We begin with a little teaching time. We move into a collaborative problem solving time where they can bring those challenges and we can discuss them as a group if they feel comfortable with that. And then the second half of the evening is a time of partnered listening, just unconditional listening. And this is a time of really deep healing, because oftentimes we didn't get that opportunity as a child to be listened to in a deep way. And so we offer that gift to each other in that evening. And then we always end with a little bit of play, because Kim and I believe that play is really important for all ages of humans. So,
Oh, that's great. That's great. And actually, that sounds great. These are amazing that you have all these different things, like that there's an hour and a half for people to really sink into the whole experience and know that the masterclass is the right thing for them. And yeah, great that you have a way for people to connect, and like so many different people that have been going through the group and are interested in these tools to come together and to be with each other. Sounds so super supportive, and it makes such a big difference for so many people.
Yeah. Should we pop the contact information back up
Yeah,
there?
just go ahead and throw that up there. If people want to reach out to you and connect with you and learn more and sign up for things, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Great.
So
And you said that, go ahead.
My website, kimholman.com, is where you can sign up for the classes. And if you have any questions, definitely email one of us. But to do all the sign up is going through my website right now.
And then
maybe just point to it with your cursor.
Oh,
you're like, bring your cursor over there so people see just the right over there, kimholman.com.
Yep.
Okay, great. Great.
Yep. Kimholman.com. There's my email, and here's Meg Judges, and then Instagram. We're both on Instagram as well.
Great. Great.
Okay. And then what's really important to us, just one more thing to talk about before we wrap up is, unless you have other things, is that we have key intentions that we bring to everything that we put out into the world. And so we try and communicate those directly and consciously each time we have a conversation. And so our three key intentions are to offer tools to reparent with awareness, to treat people with grace and love, and to build a community through learning and understanding. So those are our mission, our vision, our key intentions in what we do together.
No, it's great. It's great. I mean, I know personally too from my own work, my own experience being a human, right? There are like smaller challenges that we had as kids and, much bigger things for some of us. And like, there are all these things that's really inside us to be with us in a way that our parents, they did their best and they couldn't be with us in all the ways that we needed to. And so just a great opportunity for everyone to really be with ourselves and love ourselves. And it's how we become whole as humans.
Definitely. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think a lot of people think, oh, I didn't have a traumatic childhood. I had loving parents, and that can be true. And there could still be things that are in your past that are affecting your present. And Kim and I, when we do our introduction to trauma, we use Resmaa Menakem's definition of trauma, which is anything that you weren't ready for. And so that can be as much as you got stuck in your car seat and you weren't ready for that. Your body felt trapped and you weren't ready to process that contextually as a child. And so it's everybody can benefit from these things.
And people who get triggered a lot, where they're all of a sudden reacting about something, those are the people that really would benefit from this course.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah, that it's like, if you're reacting and you're like, why do I do that? And it's like, and then when they calm down, they're like, I shouldn't have done that. Like, why did I do that? We want people to be able to respond in life and to other people versus react.
And I want to encourage too, like there are all kinds of reacting. Like a lot of people think of the reacting to someone else outside and that there's an outer focused response, but people that go inner judging as a reaction too. Like, so there's just all different kinds of ways that people have like kind of a startle quick, usually emotionally dramatic, response to anything.
Shut
It could be
down.
freeze, shut down and
Yeah.
freeze. Yeah. There
Yeah.
are just so many different
All of
ways.
those. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
professional fawner, recovering fawner, which where some people might not know fawning is like,
Mhm.
oh no, let me do that for you because you know they're going to get upset about it. And so you fawn and do it, but then it becomes a codependent thing because it's like taking away from what you wanted to do. And so I'm definitely a professional fawner.
And then that's why you teach the
Recovering.
empath course. Yeah, one of the favorites of the empath. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for the work that you do and for bringing it to our community and to all the different people that you're touching.
Thank you.
Thank you for having a platform where we can share it.
Yeah.
You are so welcome. So thanks for being at our events and thanks everyone for watching. You can find out about all of our events at mewefairs.com. See you soon.